Next on Nightside, gaps in the state sex offender registry law. We expose the problem tonight. Why not all lawmakers are eager to see the changes.
An update on the Springfield police document shredding scandal. Will Attorney General Lisa Madigan investigate? We finally have an answer.
The exact number of those missing following Monday's monster tornado in Oklahoma still unknown tonight. Coming up, the two things that you can do that might save your life when and if Mother Nature's fury returns.
And how much money can Central Illinois raise to help tornado relief efforts? It's our challenge to you. How you can take part in the 24 hours of giving. This is Nightside. Your news starts now.
You're watching ABC News Channel 20's Nightside, now in high definition. With Liz Foster, Vince Dementri, Chief Meteorologist Rick Kirby, and Sports with Krista Lander. This is ABC News Channel 20, Nightside.
This time last night, severe weather pounded the News Channel 20 viewing area.
While the threat isn't as great right now, we still have a chance for some storms tonight.
Let's get the latest on conditions outside with Storm Team 20's Rick Kirby. Rick?
Yeah, what a difference 24 hours makes. You're right. Last night we were dealing with severe thunderstorms. Tonight, all is pretty quiet outside, and we do not really have a risk of severe storms here tonight. That is pushed off to the southeast. Here is what's the latest severe storm forecast, showing that slight chance of severe weather just to the southeast of most of Illinois, to moderate risk farther to our south. We do, though, still have the chance of some showers and storms. We've had some isolated showers here and there this evening. Most of it still have been dry. The bulk of the storms so far have been to our south, but there's a cold front right over parts of western Illinois. So again, rain and storm chances are a possibility here tonight, maybe early tomorrow as well. 74 for the high. Guess what? Part of Memorial Day weekend may be wet. I'll tell you which parts are most likely to see some rain coming up.
You know, they said it was coming, so it was like, well, what do we do? Do we have time to get in the vehicles to run it? We have pets, or do we just hunker down? So we grabbed our motorcycle helmets and hid in the closet and prayed like hell. And luckily, the only rooms that were spared was the room we were in.
Stories of survival and destruction and death. That is the search for those unaccounted continues in Moore, Oklahoma.
Today we're hearing stories of remarkable courage, like the teacher who covered 3 children, taking the brunt of all the falling debris. It's stories like that that prompted a community-wide challenge to you. How
much money can Central Illinois raise to aid in tornado relief efforts? We're in the 11th hour of 24 hours of giving campaign. ABC News Channel 20, Chantel Middleton live at the Red Cross, where volunteers are waiting to take your call. Hi, Chantel.
All right, we issued this challenge to you around 11 o'clock this morning, and 24 hours of giving is still continuing. Right now, I'm looking at our total. It's about $22,194, but there's a problem. The phones are not ringing. Here's how you can change that. 3 options for you right now. Call 787-7602 or text the word Red Cross to the number 70,000. You can also give online at redcross.org. This is Mr. Mark Cullen, and our mascot here. He's going to answer a few questions about this for us. You're one of the volunteers here. Why do you do this for those people?
I mean, this is the only way we get things done. We have to help each other, and this is the greatest way that we can do it.
All right, this donation, this money is going to be so important to these people. Tell me how it'll be spent once it gets there.
Oh, we have all kinds of needs: food, shelter, even emotional support. We are feeding volunteers, we're housing people, we're just trying to get so many different things done, and it takes a lot of money. I'm just excited because people around this community have been so tremendous and giving so much of their resources.
And so a lot of people are curious about whether it's safe to give via text or online, even by calling you with their numbers.
Absolutely it is, because we take a lot of precautions and you got to be very safe about it. But please call in, phone, text, online are great ways to donate.
And one of the ways this story touched our heart is seeing schools actually crumbled in pieces. It raises questions for a lot of parents here about if we are safe, if our students are safe. I spoke with someone today who tells me that we shouldn't worry about it. He also gave some tips for protecting our homes.
A perfect storm of elements caused a massive tornado that nearly leveled Briarwood Elementary.
I had to tell them this is not a drill, and we need to be safe, and just laying my body on top of as many kids as I could.
Seeing what's left of their school and others in the tornado's path leaves many wondering if we here in Central Illinois may have a problem.
Even though you get your students in the safest place that you possibly can, it is feasible that a building simply cannot withstand that type of energy.
The tornado that caused this massive damage in Oklahoma was an EF5 with wind speeds of at least 200 miles per hour. David Butt says a study in the early 2000s predicted winds that strong would destroy an elementary school.
There's a big difference between an Oklahoma storm and an Illinois storm. The strength of the tornadoes is so much greater than what we have in central Illinois.
Butt says we don't have the dry line of Tornado Alley that makes for those strong storms, but we do face tornadoes. And for them, our schools prepare.
I know they've had architects look at the plans to find out the best spot for them to, and they have their tornado drills yearly, at least once a year, if not more.
With summer break just around the corner, Orrin Friend with CERT, the Community Emergency Response Team, is educating his neighbors about what to do at home.
If you have a basement, go into a basement. If not, go into a interior space of your home that has no windows.
Now, I know you know the number because I can hear the phone ringing. It's like music to my ears. Again, though, that number is 787-7602. If you happen to live in an upper level apartment, I want to tell you how you can get safe. You may want to make friends with those neighbors who live downstairs because it turns out they are probably going to be your best options in terms of staying protected. Live in Springfield, Chantel Middleton, ABC News Channel 20.
Well, those in Mount Olive got a taste of the terror that a tornado causes. No one was hurt, thankfully, in the F2 twister, but there is quite a bit of damage left behind from the tornado that ripped through the town at about this time last night, including the homes of 4 people.
The City of Springfield has launched a new text alert system to keep you informed of future weather emergencies. You can get emergency alerts right to your home phone, cell phone, or tablet. It'll require you to submit some of your personal information on the city's website, but officials say that information will only be used for emergency preparedness and planning purposes. A federal Homeland Security grant is paying for the service.
A warning from city utility officials. City Water, Light and Power is floating the idea of asking for another rate hike. Could be the city council for another rate hike if the economic situation doesn't improve. CWLP says they need more money as their so-called electronic fund continues to dwindle. Officials say they won't know for sure how much of a hike they might need until city budget talks next January.
New tonight at 10, the Illinois Attorney General's office will not investigate a case involving the early destruction of Springfield Police internal affairs files.
ABC News Channel 20's Andrea Marvin live in studio tonight to tell us why. Andrea.
Vince, Liz, according to a letter from the Attorney General's office, because the disposal of those files potentially violated Illinois criminal law, the investigation does not fall under the Attorney General's authority. That kicks the investigation to the Sangamon County State's Attorney. Now, this letter was forwarded to John Millhiser, and Mayor Houston says the Attorney General's office has been in direct contact with Millhiser. In other matters, Mayor Houston killed a proposal by breaking a tie vote that would have reinforced state law requiring the Local Records Commission approval for file destruction.
We are complying with the state of Illinois in terms of the statutes. I don't know that having something in our local ordinances is going to have any impact in terms of what we're doing. We've taken steps to correct the problems that we've had.
Mayor Houston would not comment on what those state steps taken are. Also tonight, a budget report indicates the city's in good financial standing just in time for major bond issuance for infrastructure repairs. The corporate fund balance is positive for the first time in about 5 years. The budget director expects revenues will exceed expenses by about $4 million at the end of this fiscal year. Liz?
Thanks, Andrea. The city's budget director says controlling spending at City Hall is one reason the city's in good standing. Employee headcount is about 150 positions below what it was 11 years ago.
All people should be treated equally under the law. It's something former President Bill Clinton says Illinois has stood for since the days of Lincoln. And tonight, he's calling on the General Assembly to legalize same-sex marriage. Clinton says Lincoln dedicated his life to ensuring equal opportunity for all citizens and that in the 21st century, that should include gay marriage. Opponents argue marriage is a bond between a man and a woman. The Illinois Senate has approved the measure. It's currently pending in the Illinois House.
A House committee approved the expansion of Medicaid. The measure would cover low-income adults who don't have children at home and gives flexibility to some mental illness institutions. Supporters say it will help an estimated 340,000 people. Opponents have concerns about the cost. The measure now heads to the House floor for debate.
The Illinois Senate overrides Governor Pat Quinn's veto of a bill to amend the Smart Grid Act. The bill aimed to clear up language in the original Smart Grid Act, which affects rates implemented for Ameren and ComEd customers. Governor Quinn said the bill interferes with the Illinois Commerce Commission's ability to set electric rates. Senate President John Cullerton denies that.
It's all about the math. Illinois House members are questioning the savings in the Senate's pension reform plan. They say the savings in the employee pension system would be less than $6 billion. The debt is $97 billion. The House continues to back a different plan that would reduce the liability by $28 billion, but it's unclear if it could hold up in a court challenge.
Also moving forward at the State House, high-pressure fracking legislation. A House Executive Committee approved the measure, sending it to the full House for debate. Supporters hope it will kickstart oil and gas drilling in southern Illinois. Opponents want a moratorium, saying that fracking could pollute and deplete water resources.
New at 10, the main force behind expanding state gambling is taking his name off the legislation. It seems there's a perceived conflict of interest with Lou Lang's law firm. His firm does business with the city of Rockford, one of the cities for a proposed casino. No wrongdoing is alleged.
There's still lots to do for state lawmakers, and the session has just 10 days left. That could mean an overtime session, and that means lawmakers would be reimbursed for travel to and from the State House to the tune of about $23,000 a week.
Still ahead here on Nightside, do you know who your neighbors are? We've exposed gaps in the state's sex offender registry law. Why not all lawmakers are ready to change the law?
Up, up, and up. Gas prices soaring, and just in time for Memorial Day. What else is new? Find out what experts say is to blame.
I can't say anymore. I mean, I'm just excited for what's up next.
And 5 Southeast Spartans signed letters of intent to play college sports. We'll tell you where they're all headed later in sports.
It's the Green Hyundai Cam. You're watching ABC News Channel 20.
Got tips? The Waste Watch team always ready to investigate. Send your ideas to wastewatch@wics.com.
Tonight we continue our special investigation into the gaps in Illinois state law that allow some convicted sex offenders to stay off the state's sex offender registry.
But that's just scratching the surface. Did you know Illinois is refusing to comply with a tough federal sex offender law and knocking on doors? Other states do it. Illinois doesn't. What are your thoughts just by reading this? I'll tell you what I told her that left her speechless in a minute. But first, let's reintroduce you to Jodine Partridge, a convicted sex offender from Texas with convictions for child and teen offenses, along with attempted sexual assault and rape of women. After hearing rumors about Partridge's sexual criminal past, residents at this Springfield mobile home park searched Illinois' sex offender online registry but found no trace of Partridge. So they contacted us. Our investigation found that Partridge and an unknown number of others fall through a gap in the state's sex offender registry laws. In July of 1999, the state passed an amendment that would have required Partridge to register as a lifetime offender. But because he committed his crimes before July 1st, 1999, legally he doesn't have to register here. Even though Texas considers his crimes so heinous, he's listed as a lifetime offender there.
He should be on the registry.
That's the initial reaction from State Senator William Hayne after we showed him Partridge's rap sheet. For the last several years, Hayne has been trying to pass a bill that would force Illinois to comply with the federal sex offender law. Right now, Illinois' sex offender registry requires offenders to either sign up for 10 years or life, depending on the seriousness of their crime. The federal law sets national standards for state sex offender registries, and it's also tougher than Illinois' registry standards. It defines who should be on the registry and for how long. 15 years, 25 years, and life. We spoke to Senator Hayne about that and the gap in Illinois' law that Partridge falls through.
That guy should be in prison, but if he's not and he's in Illinois, he should be on the registry. So his neighbors know, the cops know, I want the police departments to know where he is.
Hayne's latest attempt at moving the bill forward passed in the Senate in January, but stopped there. Hayne refused to send the bill to the House because he said it lacked the votes to pass. The main roadblock to getting the bill passed in the House is Representative Elaine Neckritz. She chairs the powerful Judiciary Committee, and she's not a fan of the federal law, saying it paints all sex offenders with a broad brush.
What I'd like to see the state move to is more of a risk assessment program where we can take account of whether or not we think someone will be a repeat offender and deal with those people more effectively.
If retroactive registry and complying with the federal sex offender law is tough to get past here, then the idea of notifying neighborhoods of the presence those deemed to be the worst of sex offenders in the state may be downright impossible. But in states like Florida and New Jersey, that's exactly what takes place. In the Garden State, local police go door to door with flyers telling residents that a high-risk sex offender has moved into their neighborhood. In some parts of Florida, like this county outside of Jacksonville, large street signs with the pictures of those classified as potentially the most dangerous are erected in the area where that sex offender lives. Illinois' most serious offenders are listed as sexually dangerous and sexually violent. You can see if any of those offenders live near you, but you have to log on to the state police registry and type in your zip code.
Not something I would think to go looking for.
That's the response we found when we went door to door in some Springfield neighborhoods to see if people knew that those considered the worst of the worst or sexually violent were listed as living amongst them. The police would come into the neighborhood with flyers like this and knock on doors and alert neighbors that a person like this was living in the neighborhood. Would you like to see that here in this state?
Yes, I would. Yes.
I've seen that person.
Now back to the woman from the beginning of our story who was left dumbstruck. We showed her a flyer of a man listed as sexually violent who told police he lives in this small apartment building. She doesn't recognize his name, but when she sees his picture, she realizes that he's her next door neighbor. Speechless.
Yeah.
It's state law that all convicted sex offenders, on the registry or not, even if they're from out of state, must give a DNA sample to state police for their database. We contacted state police several times asking for stats on how many sex offenders have complied. State police never got back to us with an answer.
It's the perfect storm to pack a wallop in your wallet. The three things experts blame on the recent spike at the pump.
And rain and storm chances continue overnight tonight and maybe for your holiday weekend. I'll tell you which part of the weekend may see rain and is most likely to see rain coming up. Here's your high and low from today. Stay tuned. Weather is next. Well, we've seen a pretty calm evening outside tonight. There's our Prairie Hard Cam, and right now just clouds in Springfield. Most of us are seeing dry weather. We've had some rain to our south at times this evening. That's all pushed off to the northeast, and we are looking at some rain to our northeast up near Chicago. But as you can see, it's just clouds outside right now. We've had quite a few showers and storms, a big cluster of storms down here. This is a complex of thunderstorms that's very slowly moving off to the northeast. One other thing it's doing is it's kind of cutting off that low-level moisture flow into our atmosphere, and that's kept us a little more quiet tonight. It's nice to see the quiet night outside tonight compared to 24 hours ago. Now there is some lift in the atmosphere out to the west right now. There's a cold front starting to push toward Illinois, so there's still a chance of some showers and thunderstorms, especially as we get into the early overnight hours tonight. But we do not really expect severe weather here. The Storm Prediction Center expects the most likely area of severe thunderstorms to stay just to our south and then well to our south down here over parts of Arkansas. Temperatures today were pretty nice, low upper 70s, the low 80s today, not too far off from normal. It was 81 in Springfield, 81 in Jacksonville, Taylorville in the low 80s, Decatur right there as well. And outside right now we're in the upper 60s to low 70s. It's been a nice evening outside tonight. There is a little humidity out there. If you exert yourself much, you'll feel that with dew points right now in the low and mid 60s. But look at the drier air starting to push our way. Quincy right now has a dew point in the 50s. Cooler and drier air will start to work in here as we head toward the end of this week. Here's a one time lapse from this afternoon. Those cumulus clouds trying to bubble up in the sky. And this evening, take a look at all these clouds rolling our way in a beautiful sunset there as we look out to the west tonight and watch Springfield light up for our evening. Right now, officially 70 degrees in Springfield, a partly cloudy sky. Winds here from the south at 7 miles per hour. There's that dew point at 63, so not terribly high, but it's at that point where you can feel it a bit if you're outside very long doing much of anything. Now, here's the cold front out to the west tonight. We get on the backside of this overnight tonight and early tomorrow, so there is a chance, as I said, of showers and storms tonight. Tomorrow, the best chance of rain, maybe a storm would be early in the day, and then as we head into Thursday, another cold front comes through early Thursday morning. That comes through dry, but behind that, some pretty cool weather in here. Highs by Thursday only in the 60s. Tomorrow, we're in the mid-70s, 79 in St. Louis, 74 in Chicago. You can see the cooler air taking over on Thursday, 71 in St. Louis, just 59 in Chicago, and we'll be in the 60s here. Our forecast tonight, mostly cloudy skies, some of those showers and storms late tonight, 63 for the low. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, best rain or storm chance early in the day, 74 for the high. Here's the 7-day forecast. Dry for Thursday and Friday. Here comes Memorial Day weekend. A slight rain or storm chance Saturday, a little better rain or storm chance on Sunday. And those Sunday storms could spill over into Monday, Memorial Day. And then Tuesday, sunshine at 79.
If you've stopped for gas in the past few days, you've probably noticed the soaring prices at the pump.
AAA says the average price for a gallon of regular unleaded stands at about $3.92, up 15 cents from last week, 36 cents from last month. Experts list a slight upturn in the economy, retailers getting ready for high demand come Memorial Day weekend, and the tornado in Oklahoma.
But when there is an event like that, or the expectation for problems in the weather, bad storms throughout the Midwest, that puts a little pressure on prices because people anticipate that they might have delivery problems.
Also adding to the sticker shock, our state is one of only 7 that charges a sales tax on gas. That's in addition to the 20-cent gas tax drivers already pay per gallon at the pump.
Time for a look at sports with our sports director, Crystal Lander.
Yeah, Rochester playing in the 1A soccer super sectional.
They've only allowed 1 goal all season long, or all postseason long. Would they allow another tonight? Just one. Don't go to sports is next. Super sectionals on the 1A pitch. Rochester looking for a state appearance facing Alton Marquette. These Lady Rockets have been stellar so far this season, postseason, allowing just 1 goal. 13 minutes into the first half, Rochester with a great chance. Mason Garland denied, then Emily Matson gets a foot on it. A mad scramble, no goal. It would go to overtime, scoreless. In OT, the Rockets attacking first. Lindy Sicaro turns, fires to the far post. Marquette's goalie is all over it. Still 0-0 with time winding down in the first half. OT, Rochester trying to clear it, but Marquette's Lauren Schmickley gets a foot on it and scores. That would do it. Rochester falls in OT 1-0 to Alton Marquette. Well, 2A sectionals, SHG facing Carbondale in the Mascoutah sectional. SHG beats Carbondale to advance to the sectional final against either Glenwood or Troy Triad. That game tomorrow. Well, 3A softball regionals continuing. Springfield High with a come-from-behind win over Lanphier last night. They moved to face the top seed SHG. Cyclones beat SHS both times they faced them this season. Would they make it 3? SHG not wasting any time. Early in this one, bottom one, Jennifer Jennings smacks an RBI double over the left fielder Christina Baton. Cassie Kuzin score. 3-0 Sykes. Top 2, Alexa Booker. Dribbler back to the pitcher, Kelly McNahan. Looks off the runner at third before throwing to first for the out, but Morgan Throop still scores to get Springfield on the board. SHG beats Springfield High in 5 innings, though, 11-1. Well, the school year is coming to an end, which means it's coming down to the wire for kids to sign their names on the dotted line to continue their athletic careers. At Southeast this afternoon, 5 athletes making it official. Sharday Crawford signing her letter to K-State. Baseball player Mike Ringer headed for Lincoln Land, while Jagger Anderson will play basketball at Lincoln College. Herman Senior will also play basketball, but for Quincy University. And Justice Collins inking her letter to the University of Missouri, Kansas City.
They're moving into the WAC conference now, and so it's just a different style of play. You know, they think I could come in and fit in right away. You know, where their program, the direction they're going, they think that I can go and positively help them out. So I'm pretty excited because it seems like I'm not just another statistic on their team. You know, it feels like I'm kind of part of the family.
Well, that's going to do it for sports. Stay with us. We're back after the break.
That's it for Nightside. Jimmy Kimmel's up next.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.